Welcome back to IGN Live, straight out of Germany at Gamescom. Joining us now is Dan Greenewald, the godfather of Forza Motorsport, creative director at Turn 10. Talk to me about Forza Motorsport 6. I'm very excited, and I know there's plenty to talk about, so let's get started.
Well, you know, this is a huge game. 450 cars, 26 environments, 24 cars on track, 1080p, 60 frames per second. It's a lot of numbers.
It really is your biggest game ever, right?
It really is.
Yeah.
But to me, it's about the experiences that we can create with those numbers. The 450 cars, all of them are ForzaVista cars. So even if it's a humble, hot hatch, you can open up the doors, get inside, drive in cockpit, damage, customize, livery it. That's really what the heart of Forza is treating all cars with that same respect. The other experiences people are looking for are the way that Turn 10 would do rain and do night. Our fans have been looking for rain and night in Forza for a while, and I think it was because they knew what we would do towards that simulation racing space in motorsport. The threat, the danger, the precision of avoiding puddles and the variable friction and the limited visibility of dark with the headlights and so I'm really excited. I mean, I think you had a chance to play it.
Yeah,
the game really is speaking for itself right now.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I've played a lot of racing games, and a lot of them do rain. But when you sort of hit those puddles, like that giant puddle at Brands Hatch, you come around that corner, you hit that giant puddle, and it's a big splash, and you feel it through the haptic triggers. You feel the rumble. You feel the car slow down. I was really, I was quite amazed at how well that translated through just the controller. And I can imagine. I only imagine that it feels even better with a wheel, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, the sensation of the water affecting the dynamics of the car, I think, was done really well.
Thank you. It's it was that vision of talking to race car drivers, and they talked about that danger and the tension that's created in the wet when you've got a car on your left and a car on your right. You see a big puddle coming in on the apex. You've got a choice. Do I brake and give up 2 racing positions? Do I hit the guy on my left? If it's DTM, you probably do.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of decisions we want to have people to have. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing rain in sort of a just diminish the friction equally across the track. But again, I think our fans were looking for that level of simulation. So we looked at the 150 surface types across a track like the Nürburgring, and we measured the friction of the paint and the curbing and the tarmac and everything so that it really feels right.
And you just touched on DTM there, and I wanted to talk to you about the cars. You've been revealing cars every week for the past 5 or 6 weeks now. Mm-hmm. You just revealed a whole bunch more, a lot of European cars, some Indy cars from 2015. The week before, you revealed some BTCC cars and that kind of stuff. Now, talk to me about with Forza 6. Are you finding more and more sort of licensees are getting on board saying, yeah, you can have some of our cars? Is that becoming easier now with the profile of Forza?
I think between Forza 5 and Forza 6, it's difficult to tell the difference. But between, this is a 10-year anniversary of our franchise. Between Forza Motorsport 1 in 2005 and now, there's been a huge change. I mean, now we have car companies like McLaren, like Lamborghini, like Ford, coming to us with their high-end Halo car models saying, please, put these in the game. That puts us in a very different position. But it's not actually about us. It's not about the prominence of our franchise. It's about the rise of the gamer. Racing gamers are a big part of gaming culture, and gaming culture is a much bigger part of everything, mass media. So the companies know that we are their best chance of giving a great impression of their brand, an accurate one, a simulated one, to this up-and-coming racing gamer and the up-and-coming car-buying audience.
Yeah, right. And just quickly, you got 450 cars. Now, Forza 4, for me, I loved Forza 4, and it had such a great eclectic selection of cars. Now, since then, with Forza 5, you added open-wheelers. And now with Forza 6, you've got those, you've got all of these all of this really sort of bizarre and kind of fascinating cars that are coming over from Horizon, like the VW bus and the Jeep. Do you feel like this is probably the broadest selection of cars that you've had so far? Definitely, right?
By far. I mean, yes, open wheel opened up an entire new, wing for us to explore in car culture. But the diversity of the franchise has always been our strength, and this is the most diverse lineup we've ever had. Yeah. So it's not just that it's 450, it is, when you can jump from one car to another and have them gain, 1,000 kilograms when you go from one to the next, go production tires and race tires. We had to simulate race tires from the aughts and the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, 60s, 50s, and 40s. When you have to do that level of simulation, it changes the way everything feels. In fact, the cars that I love the most in the game are the classics because they're the hardest ones to simulate. The body flex. When you're doing a modern car like a 458 or a Ford GT, they're just so fast and they're so good. They almost start feeling similar. They make you feel like a hero. When you drive one of those old cars, you had to earn it. I mean, the tires are rolling over themselves and the chassis is flexing. I love that.
Yeah, right. And you guys, I know I spoke to you guys recently. When you track down a car, you just go over every single inch of it because sometimes you only get one chance to access these cars. And you guys are accessing cars from all over the world. I feel like you've got a really good sort of handle on global car culture. You've got Swedish touring cars. You've got cars from Australia. You've got cars from, you've got a lot of German cars. You've got cars from US and Japan.
Yeah.
Just how tricky has it been to track down some of those real iconic, we only made 2 of these kind of things?
You know, it's always hard.
Yeah.
And so we're always looking. And often one car leads to many. So we may be looking for, a pre-war auto union car or something like that. And in finding the collector that owns it, all of a sudden we see all the other cars this person owns.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of the work we do, but honestly, when you let us into your garage, it's kind of like letting doing a deal with the devil, right? Because can we take the wheels off that? Can we measure the driveline? Can we take that car apart? So we wait for the owner to say, you've gone too far. But part of that's even opening up the garage and saying, ooh, did you see that? It's an Alpina. Let's go get that.
Dan, I know the release date, but it's your game, so hit me with the release date. When can we get Forza 6?
So starting September 15th everywhere. And also we have early access for the Ultimate Edition starting on September 12th.
And is that through the Forza Hub?
That is actually through the Xbox Store, and its digital version. Through the Forza Hub, though, you get Forza loyalty rewards, but also if you start Forza 6, based on your tier, you can start the game with amazing cars and up to 25 million credits.
Yeah, if you own 300 cars in the previous games.
Yeah, so we've got this rabid fan base. We want to make sure that when they start the game, they just feel like, oh yeah, this game's already like embracing me, it's loving on me. Same thing with the files. Your liveries, your tunes, they come over from Horizon as well as Forza 5. So you can start the game just well-seated.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for coming in, Dan. For everything else on all the other games at Gamescom, stick with IGN.